If your first gaming memories are from the 80s, chances are something in 1980X will speak to you on a very personal level. Whether it was the first time you put a coin into a Final Fight cabinet or your maiden voyage flying the R9 in R-Type, so many of us either have precious memories of that decade itself or created them with experiences born during that pivotal time in the history of video games. 1980X isn't a long game, it can be completed in the space of an hour, but it portrays those moments of discovering the power of this medium in a way that I've never seen before, and the beautiful pixel art story segments make the playthrough exceedingly poignant, if also somewhat bittersweet. 1980X plays out over brief story vignettes and 5 different gameplay segments, starting with a brawler section entitled Beating Heart. The other 4 genres represented are horizontal shooter, arcade racer, action auto runner, and first-person dungeon crawler. None of the gameplay portions have a lot of depth, but they do evoke the simplicity of the era, which feels meaningful. They also play and control fairly well, which is noteworthy given their lack of screen time. There's no real consequences for failing at any of the games either, since you just restart from a beginning that isn't far off or a recent checkpoint. The auto runner features a ninja-type character who can slide, jump, and slash, and this was the one that felt the longest and was the most challenging. While the gameplay itself isn't all that thrilling, the spectacular pixel art is absolutely on point. The narrative sections feature a protagonist named Kid, a teenager who is struggling with a difficult family situation and impending adulthood, and the style and look of these sections is mesmerizing. I really just hoped for more of them, both to learn about the story in greater detail and see more of the gorgeous artwork. The presentation is further buoyed by an incredible and evocative soundtrack that features Yuzo Koshiro. The somber and moody tracks that play over the vignettes complement the authentic music of the game segments. As an audio and visual experience, 1980X is absolutely one of the strongest on Switch. 1980X ends with a promise, to be continued, and I sincerely hoped that it would fulfill that promise after the credits rolled, but sadly that wasn't to be. Its unique structure and message about the impact that video games can and have had on us make this a worthwhile investment, but it also feels like a tease for something more substantial. If you'll permit me to don my philosopher hat for a moment, perhaps the brevity of 1980X represents the fleeting nature of that initial discovery, the uncovering of worlds where we can escape, if only for a little while, the pressures and turmoil of life. Understanding the experimental and purposeful design of 1980X goes a long way toward appreciating it. Rather than a fun traditional game experience, it's best viewed as a bold and thought-provoking work that reminds us of a time before wireless controllers and console wars. Back when all you really needed was a quarter and some courage.
This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.